you say his strengths and things he needs to work on? He's 25, so he's still very young. 6'6", so he's a big lad.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I think his strengths. He showed that his shot stopping was excellent, and I think in the first season, Burnley were moving to a very, very different style to what the fans were used to, and there was a bit of he got a bit of criticism, a bit of stick early on. There was a particular game against Blackpool at home that Burnley were winning 3-1 and ended up drawing 3-3, where his on the ball, he basically kept giving it away, and one of the goals that Blackpool score is because he passes straight to the player basically. And there was a couple of other instances in the second half which sort of began to change the momentum, and there was a real sort of feeling among supporters that maybe this guy isn't what's needed. But Company always remained supportive, and as the season went on, as his confidence grew, you just saw all the good things about him. I mean, he is excellent with the ball at his feet. He's got a brilliant passing range. He's got all the clubs in the bag, if you like, from a golf standpoint. And then he can go short, he can go long and be pinpoint. And he also he's got an eye for the pass as well. Like he can break lines, he can spot little, things that you don't think are on. Now there's a significant element of risk with that, and it doesn't always work. And obviously in the Premier League with a higher intensity of press and sort of probably more tactical awareness maybe than in the Championship, because you're playing with the elite of the elite. Sometimes that doesn't always go to plan, where you might get away with it in the Championship a little bit more. But I think the shot stopping was something that you could see growing, and was definitely on show at the back end of last season. And then the command of his box as well was something that he really improved on. There was a game in the Championship in the first season when Burnley got beat 5-2 by Sheffield United, and he looked a bit like a deer in the headlights, because Sheffield United were very direct, a lot of set pieces, and Muric just was all over the place basically. But that was another thing that he's worked on. The weaknesses, I think that there's still elements of his game that he can improve. In terms of the passing, he's excellent when he's on it, but if he's having a bad passing, if the radar's off, the radar's off. Like it can be really, really frustrating to watch a little bit, because there is some games where if it's just not happening for him, just nothing seems to hit or stick, and he just can't get the accuracy right. And then you've got the mistakes, which the two you look at the Everton one. He just takes a little bit too long, basically trying to find one of his riskier passes, break the lines. It would have been a really good pass, and would have put Burnley really, on the attack on the front foot. But he takes that a little bit too long, and obviously hits Calvert-Lewin's leg and goes in. And then the one against Brighton, which it's just still unfathomable. I would just, goes under his foot when he's on his goal line. You just think how could this possibly have happened? And obviously those were into high pressure big games where results went, Burnley effectively lost 3 points off the back of that, and 3 points would have made a big difference going into that final game against Nottingham Forest. They would have had a better chance of staying up. Obviously didn't have any by that point because of the way the results went, but so yeah, it's maybe it's concentration, but I think what he's shown is if he makes a mistake, he can bounce back, because it wasn't the first time he'd made a mistake in a Burnley shirt, and he played well for the rest of the game, and made big saves, and then came back the next game and made big saves and played well as well. So it's one of them. It's the inexperience of a goalkeeper, and these things do happen, but you hope that he's learned from them, and I'm sure he has, because they were two very high profile moments. But ultimately, his introduction to the team gave Burnley a humongous boost, because they were looking dead and buried pretty much by the point Company made the change. And he played a massive part in giving them a bit of hope, and results made it. There was a significant uptick in results from his arrival in the team basically in last season. And it felt like the players around him just felt that little bit more confidence. So, he's clearly had a positive effect on those around him as well as his own performances.